Alright, so today we're gonna talk about my new routine, and it's the power building phase 1 from Jeff Napier, and I'm gonna show you the full routine I'm doing right now, and we're starting with the squats. In the squats, this one was like the power lift, and I did around 80% of my 1 rep max. Right now my 1 rep max in the squat is around 275 pounds, and as you can see here, I was doing around 205. But after checking, I realized it was around 255 pounds. Here's another take where this one is actually the warm-up before, but as you can see my technique from the other side, where it's very important that you need to brace and go almost as parallel to the floor, so this way you're actually working your squats. For the second exercise, we have the overhead press, where I was able to do 95 pounds or around 80% of my 1 rep max. If I'm not correct, that's the weight I am doing at the moment. And so as you can see, I try to always have my lower back very straight by bracing my abs and my glutes and focusing solely on using my shoulders, as you can see. But I try to train close to failure but not go to failure, as these are power lifts and will fatigue you very much. Then I started doing some supersets. Started with a glute ham raise, which is one of my favorite exercises to target the hamstrings and the glutes. And following after that, we have the bicep curls in the easy bar on the preacher. As you can see, I'm showing you the part where I almost go to failure completely, as in this exercise is the only one that you should go to failure, as you can see right here. And this way you work your biceps without doing too many sets during the week, right? As you can see, I was very tired from it, but I really have enjoyed this routine. And my last superset, which is followed by 3 exercises inside this superset, we have the Helms row. One of those exercises that in my opinion has been super underrated, as not too many people do this exercise, but you should give it a try for your lats. Right after that, I did wrist extensions and flexions. Here are me doing the extensions, and I have realized that maintaining this position and elongating your forearms in this way I am doing here will grow your forearms. Going to the second day, we're gonna do deadlifts, and as you can see here, I decided to do these sumo deadlifts, as it's one of those exercises that really don't tax my lower back, and I can do way more reps and way more weight without not too much discomfort. Of course, was the first day, so I needed to focus solely on my technique. I have realized that I need to use more my glutes when I go up instead of my lower back, as you can see. Following from that, we have the bench press, another great exercise, part of the power lifts, and I think I'm way better with my technique on the bench press of the 3 lifts, as this is an exercise that during my 4 years of training experience is the one that I have done the most, and I have almost never taken a break from bench presses. And so this one was around 82.5 to 87.5% of my 1 rep max, so I did 180 pounds. My 1 rep max is very low, like 205 pounds. Still something that I can work on to increase. Then I did some bodybuilding. I started doing some hip abductions. I actually did this supersetting it with the bench press, as while I'm doing the hip abductions, I am resting from my chest. And lastly, I did some supersets with the pull-ups, following it with a standing calf raise. And as you can see, my pull-ups are a very slow eccentric movement, as if you just do pull-ups and you just focus on going to point A to point B, you're not gonna feel your muscles of the back working. The same with the calves. As you can see, I'm doing slow eccentrics, pausing 1 second at the bottom and doing some explosive concentric. This way I'm actually working better in every single set. Following to the third day, I started doing squats once again of 80% of what my 1 rep max. So for my 255 pounds, I did around 205 pounds. But this time I didn't do a top set, I just do 3 working sets. Now, as you can see in the video, I can go lower. As you can see, I can go lower parallel to the floor. Remember that this is my first week, so from week 1 to week 10, I know and I will have a better technique week by week, and that's this program for, you know, you start to get used to the movements, start to get used to everything. One of my friends there pumped me up, and that's good to go into the gym with friends, right? After that, I was also doing a supersets with the dips, and the dips is an exercise that I started doing again after a while, but this time without assistance. Now, the second superset, I did some lat pullovers in the cables. As you can see, I really feel my lats in this exercise with supersetting with the hanging leg raises, and this is another exercise that I did some mistakes and not doing eccentrics. Later, I did some superset, the third one, with one arm face pulls, as you can see, because Milo Wolf has shown me how to do them more effectively. Supersetted with bicep curls in the incline, doing it one arm at a time, as you can see, so I can focus on those bicep fibers. Day 4, I started doing again sumo deadlifts, but with one big technique difference. I did a pause right before I go up, as you can see. Pause, go, count 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds at least, and contract. This way I really focus on my technique where I am doing things right and wrong. And here in this day, I realized that I was using a bit more my lower back than my glutes when I, you know, drive the bar all the way up. So now, as we can see, I then did the bench press, which is one of those exercises that I, again, I'm very good with the technique, but this day it was some pause bench press at the bottom. As you can see, I touch my chest 3 seconds at least, and then contract explosively all the way up. This way it helps me gain more strength. And I supersetted that with some incline dumbbell rows to target the back. The second superset was some shrugs, as you can see here. And the thing with the shrugs is that it actually helps you as well work all those traps and rhomboids. And I supersetted this with a leg exercise. And so here is my following exercise, which is lying leg curls, but then my gym now has a seated leg curls, which I'm gonna change next week. Now, following with the last day, it was an arm and pump day, and I started doing the day with some easy bar curls standing, and followed by supersetting it with the JM press, which is a new exercise for me, and I enjoyed it very much without any discomfort. The second superset was 21s, some bicep 21s and tricep 21s. Now I wanted to show you the full set right here, and the first 7 reps you're gonna do is full range of motion. As you can see here, I'm moving my wrists when I go down and then like rotating my wrist all the way up, so you can see that I'm really targeting those biceps fibers, as you can see here. Sorry. Now this next 7 reps, what's in the contractive part, as you can see here, this is where you start feeling it. You know, you start feeling the contraction, the tension on your biceps. And lastly, the 7 reps are the hardest, which are the elongated part of the movement, where of course there have been multiple studies that the elongated position can build as much muscle mass as full range of motion. So I highly recommend that you do this exercise if you want to really grow those biceps and triceps fibers. As you can see, I'm starting to do some phases here. As you can see, going very close to failure. And I even got to failure in this set. It was my last set. So now I want to show you the tricep 21s. I did some tricep pushdowns with the cables. I really like doing them with the ropes because I have a freer range of motion, especially with this rope I'm using here, which I have also bought from Amazon. I think it's around $30. But again, you do the 7 reps, full range of motion, always, you know, controlling the eccentric. Now I'm doing the concentric part, which is a bit more easier, but still you are gonna start feeling it very, you know, you're gonna start feeling your tricep fibers. And then you do the elongated position, as I'm doing it right here. The point of this exercise is to feel those muscles working. As you can see, I went to true failure on those last reps. As you can see, I can't do it anymore. Now, third superset was a very high superset. I started doing some lateral raises with the dumbbells, around 20 reps, so it was very taxing for me. Then some band pullovers, another exercises that it's new for me, which target the traps and rear delts, followed by some machine standing calf raises, as you can see, slow eccentric and concentric in the explosives. And last superset, I did some reverse crunches on the bench. And this one too, you need to focus on the eccentric, followed by some neck curls right here, which now that I'm building muscle, then of course I want to also build every single muscle I can in my body, so why not just include some neck flexions and extensions to my routine, right? Now, remember that this routine is at your discretion, but I hope you enjoyed this video. See y'all in the next one.